Hello and welcome, Cześć, witaj, to episode 5 of From Pierogi to Perfect English. Once again, I'm very honoured to be joined by the rather exhausted Stef. Stef, how you feeling?
I'm good, hanging by a thread, but I'm here.
Yes, I hear your daughter's a bit poorly at the moment, right?
Yes, I'm learning a valuable lesson about feeding a sick child too much spaghetti bolognese.
I didn't think you could have too much spaghetti bolognese.
When you have a bad cough, I can assure you it's not as nice after it's come back up.
If you came for dietary advice, this is the right place, guys. Well, welcome to episode 5. Today we wanted to explore inappropriate language, inappropriate phrases and idioms. Learning English or any language is really challenging. And of course, it's quite easy to make not just pronunciation errors, but saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's a big one, and it's really difficult minefield to navigate, as we say. So before this podcast, before we started recording, Steph and I were discussing various different inappropriate moments and experiences that we've had. Having a good giggle about that, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different times, even for native speakers, when you can use the wrong phrase, the wrong idiom, and you can go from having something that wanted to come off really well intended to ending up being something that's either mean, passive aggressive, will get you fired, or maybe eternally sleeping on the sofa.
Yeah. So it's a complex thing because, through life we've got different relationships from, good friends and family, but then we also have formal relationships in business. We have our work colleagues, our bosses, our customers, and then we have interactions with other situations, for example, with doctors and other people in authority or police or something. So how we use language can be really critical sometimes if we want a positive outcome and a harmonious exchange.
Definitely. Absolutely. I think it's such an important thing, and sometimes it can also be something quite funny. As we were planning out this podcast and what we were going to say about it, you told me a fantastic story about your past relationship that is still making me laugh.
Okay, well, as soon as you mentioned it, fantastic, I'm not sure is the correct word, but we'll run with that. So this is actually probably my first ever girlfriend when I was about 13 years old, and her name was Katie. I won't reveal her surname. And anyway, I think we've been dating for like 2 weeks, which is a long time when you're a school kid. And she came into school one morning and she seemed kind of down, really quiet and sort of depressed and sad. So, of course, I wanted to see, what was wrong. Oh, my God. So I said, "Hey, Katie, what's up? What's wrong?" And she said, my grandfather, he died. Now, I'm not very good at situations like this, so I never know what to say. So, but I came up with a brilliant response. I said, "Well, they've all got to pop off sometimes." Yeah.
Wow,
So
I didn't even ask you how she responded. I didn't ask you when you told me this story earlier. How did she respond to
stone
this
silence,
comment?
stone cold silence, I think. And I think her chin trembled a little bit as a result. So to pop off is a very informal word or phrase, which means to die, sort of to disappear from the world. And I thought I was being kind of, I don't know what I thought I was being, but I was trying to be nice. But yeah, she didn't take it in the way I meant it. And as a result, I found myself single again after a few days when she dumped me.
A hard dating lesson. I would say that's definitely more British. Pop off. I would say the Canadian equivalent would probably be kick the bucket.
Ah, yeah, we use kick the bucket too. That's also terrible to use when someone's just died. I'm sorry to hear he's kicked the bucket.
Yeah. When can you think of any time you could use that appropriately?
I think if you're talking about someone that you're detached from, like, and maybe the person who you're talking with is detached or not connected with. So you could say something like, well, I think, you could be talking to a friend and you're saying, well, actually, I think his uncle kicked the bucket 10 years ago, something like that. So there's a lot of distance between that moment and maybe even relationship as well. What do you think?
Yes, definitely not one to save for a girlfriend, a partner, a close friend.
Yeah, when it's raw,
These
when
are
it's
ones
just
that-
happened as well.
Yeah, that leave you sleeping on the couch at the end of the day.
Sleeping on the couch. I was 13. What kind of relationships did you have when you were 13?
Well, you know the context later on in life, or
I'm
one
kidding.
of these phrases that teaches you how to avoid sleeping on a couch in
Yeah.
your later years.
For real.
There's
Okay.
a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
A lot of bad ones. They're inconsistent phrases with dating.
Mm-hmm. You got a few more for us?
I was thinking of some of the awkward responses if someone, for example, if you're in a relationship for a long time and the first time your partner says, I love you.
Yes.
Yes.
Not a great way to reply, just by saying yes.
Thank you.
Or, yeah, thanks. I love me too.
Thanks. Cheers.
Yeah.
Let me sleep on it.
Let me sleep on it. Yeah, that's one way to kill
Let me take a moment to think.
You'd kill the moment, I think, there.
Yeah, I don't reckon you'd hear them say I love you again.
It would be probably the one and only time, indeed. I've got a few other, outside of dating, a few other examples that I've made a note of here. So, for example, if you're talking with your boss or a customer or someone that you need to show respect, you'd really want to avoid saying something like, hey, chill out. It's way too casual to use with someone in authority, right?
Absolutely. I would say in most situations, even with a close friend or anyone who's dealing with something heavy or trying to tell you something serious,
Yeah.
chill out, calm down, makes the person instantly go from 0 to 100 with anger, typically.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, absolutely. So let's say someone says, gives you really terrible news like, oh my God, I've just been diagnosed with a brain tumor or something really awful. The worst thing to say then, I think, would be, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh my gosh. This is pretty much the worst case scenario you could ever use this phrase. Trying to turn similarly when you have too serious of something or a serious illness and someone says there's always a silver lining or there's always a bright side.
Yeah, there's a time and place for positivity, but there's also a time to be appropriately what's the word we need? Kind, yeah, thoughtful, and I guess matching that level of kind of sensitivity.
Yeah, like there's
Empathy.
a degree. I've had a lot of people say, but jokingly, my surgery, for example, was quite minor. It's just gallbladder, and I've explained that I'm on this miserable diet, which is true. And true story that mostly I'm eating boiled vegetables and boiled chicken. And I said, I can't do my gym training for the next 6 weeks. And everyone said, you won't need to on this diet that you're on. You'll lose a lot of weight. There's always a silver lining. So in that situation where it was something funny and not life-altering, it can be appropriate, but certainly not in the case where someone has a terminal illness or brain tumor.
Yeah, it seems obvious, but like I said, when someone's learning idioms or phrases, it's difficult to, place them into context. When you're learning them from a book or from however, it's not until we find ourselves in those situations then we might reach for them. And for a native, it's generally quite intuitive and instinctive, apart from me when I was 13.
But, I was just going to say, wait a minute, apart from young age youth.
Yeah. But for someone, for a non-native learning the language, it can be particularly difficult, I think, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think they're so important, because people want to learn them. We use them. I say to my students, I don't know how it is in England, but I would say, in all honesty, I probably use them on a daily basis, sometimes even without realizing it.
For real, yeah. I think definitely without thinking about using them, but we do. They're very common. I think they're quite good fun to learn, but abstractly they seem a bit pointless, because there's normally a plain sentence you can use rather than the phrase or the idiom. However, if you're out there in the real world and you encounter English natives speaking, or if you're watching a movie or listening to a podcast, then they'll appear, and then if you're not familiar with them, then they can be confusing and completely mislead you and kind of cloud the context of what is being discussed or understood.
Completely throw you for a loop, because they're one of those things that it just doesn't translate literally, so it can be quite confusing if you don't understand them or know them. So it's a good, I guess, building block. Not essential in speaking, but certainly it'll help you with overall comprehension and showing fluency in the language.
Yeah, so the thing with idioms is sometimes they're really absurd, and they seem to bear no relation to their actual idiomatic meaning. That's the right pronunciation, isn't it? Idiomatic?
Idiomatic?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm saying that right. Idiomatic. So the example I would pick is I'm knackered, which is a very common British phrase meaning I'm tired, I feel tired. The direct translation, or the literal translation, of that word means broken. So a knackered television or a knackered car. I understand in Canada, knackered is not a thing.
No, definitely not. If someone said I'm knackered, I would know they've got a British parent, or they grew up in England. It's not one we would use. We would say I'm shattered.
We use that one too.
Okay, that would be our first go-to, though, would be I'm shattered. Like I am broken to pieces. I'm exhausted. You can literally shatter something like a mirror, but for us, when we use it, when we're talking about ourselves, it means I'm just beat. I always thought it was so funny with Brits, and this is another one that's so iconically British, or at least to us Canadians, is taking the piss.
Taking the piss, yes. It makes no sense at all, as if somebody would take a bottle of piss somewhere. It's like, what?
Urine. Yeah, I went over and stole someone else's urine.
Gross.
Yeah.
Right, so taking the piss means to tease, mock, or joke, and make fun of somebody else. It's something English people like to do, and we also like to do it to ourselves. We love to take the piss out of ourselves, for sure.
Heard the term taking the mickey. Is this a Brit one as well? Okay.
It is taking the mickey or taking the mick. Taking the mick.
Okay.
Also. There's also the phrase a piss take. So that's a noun, and it means the same. Like if someone is... actually, maybe doesn't quite mean the same. It means like someone's going too far or taking advantage of you. It's like, it's a real piss take what that company did or what that person did to me. I'm angry about that. So
it's just gone too far. I would say ours are more... I mean, we would just say maybe more directly make fun of someone, but we do have pull someone's leg, which sounds really, really strange. And that's the same, to kind of make fun of someone or make a joke, irritate them, or try to get a reaction out of them.
Well, I think if you pulled someone's leg, you'd certainly get a reaction, because they'd be like wondering why you were hanging onto their foot.
I would rather, I'm aiming for laughter, not physical violence.
Indeed. Let's avoid physical violence. A weird English one is I'm chuffed, meaning I'm very happy or I'm super excited. Chuffed is such a weird word. I can't find another use of this word. I don't think it's a verb to chuff something. However, there's variants like I'm stoked and I'm pumped.
That would be what we would use for sure. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to go on this date. I'm pumped to start my new job. Definitely. I think casually, occasionally, maybe I'm chuffed, but more commonly for us Canadians, I'm stoked or I'm pumped. Would be really American. I'm pumped.
Yeah, very American. I think they're rarely used in British English. Stoked always struck me as Australian English, actually. I'm stoked, mate. I'm pumped.
Oh, touche, you're right. 2 years living in Australia, I should have remembered that.
In the UK, we grew up on, there's a couple of Australian soap operas that used to be on around 5 p.m. every day. So for kids, teenagers, we used to watch all the cartoons, all the children's programming. And then there was a show called Neighbours it had Kylie Minogue in it, for anybody who remembers the 90s out there. And this was an institution in England where everybody watched it, and I think it influenced a little bit our language. Maybe not, but there was definitely loads of very Australian phrases like "I'm stoked, mate." There was another one.
It's still in Australia. So Neighbours is still holding strong.
Yeah. It's been running for 50 years or something. I haven't seen an episode of it in a long, long time. Did you watch it, that show?
I didn't watch it. I think, though, the biggest influence for any parent knows is Bluey, is worldwide famedom.
Never heard
from
of
Australia.
What's Bluey?
It's a cartoon about a dog, and it has good moral lessons.
Is it like Flipper?
No, it's just like a blue cartoon dog family.
Okay, or Lassie.
Oh, Lassie was a good one.
Yeah, what about Mr. Ed?
Tearjerker, there's a phrase. Lassie was a tearjerker.
Tearjerker. These are very old TV shows. I apologise to our listeners who may not be aware of these. But Mr. Ed is worth checking out because it's a talking horse and it was pretty funny. Steph, do you ever see Mr. Ed?
I saw Mr. Ed. I think we're aging ourselves, though. I don't want to tell our listeners how old I actually am, James.
Hammer. You've got YouTube, guys. You can check these things out. It's worth it. Okay, we're getting off track slightly.
No, I wanted to ask you about tearjerker.
I've never heard of it.
Strain.
Oh, the
never
phrase?
Heard the phrase tearjerker. Yeah, the phrase tearjerker.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have an English equivalent, or is it the same?
I think it's the same. Tearjerker. Yeah.
Okay. That's something that pulls at our tears out of our face and makes us cry.
Yeah, we often accompany it with a real tearjerker.
Oh, yeah. Fair call.
Yeah. It's probably a phrase I rarely use, though. Do you use it?
Oh, I use it. Maybe it's a more, I don't want to stereotype and say one that females would use, but because women are more prone to sentimental movies, I would say we use it pretty regularly. Oh, it was a real tearjerker. Sometimes you need to watch a tearjerker and have a good cry.
At the risk of sounding, what's the word? Chauvinistic. I think the male equivalent of that is soppy. It's a soppy movie. You know, soppy?
Okay. Yeah. Soppy. Yeah.
Like wet, like you want to cry. Soppy. SOPPY for anyone out there who's wondering this word. Yeah. There's some great phrases out there. Just one of my favourite actually is storm in a teacup. Mainly because of the image it conjures up of a teacup with a whole storm and a ship, sailing around in this little teacup. It's really vivid imagery to me.
I've never, ever heard this one. To be frankly honest, I've never heard this one. So what is the meaning?
If someone's making a big deal out of something or maybe overreacting to a situation, you can say, hey, look, this is a big storm in a teacup. It's really not a big problem. You're making it sound like a big problem, or you're reacting to it as if it's a big problem, but really, this is no big deal. It's a storm in a teacup.
Okay, we would say make a mountain out of a molehill. Would be the
we could use that too.
One of those phrases you would never use again for a terminal illness or a death in the family.
Indeed, yes. It's one to use in casual, calm, positive situations, probably, or something like that. Yeah, I think
something minor. Someone's dropped a dish on the floor and it's broken, and then they're having a huge reaction. Someone dropped a dish of food and it got all over the floor and they were getting upset about it. You could say, let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. It's not a big deal. Let's grab a broom and sort it out.
I envisage, that's a hard word to say, isn't it? Envisage. I can imagine a situation where a politician is trying to diminish or make smaller a situation by saying, maybe talking to the journalists or the press and saying something like, hey, this is just a big storm in a teacup. It's not a big problem. Everybody calm down, go home, get on with your lives.
It kind of sort of similar to the whole let's not cry over spilled milk is a tricky one, where that one can also be kind of passive aggressive or kind of mean at times.
Yeah,
if you use it in the wrong context.
I can't even think of a good time to use that phrase. Don't cry over spilt milk.
No, I can't think of one that it didn't incite anger almost any time I've heard it. One of those ones that should kind of be abolished. It just diminishes someone's feelings about a situation.
Oddly, it's a very well-known phrase, but there's no good time to use that. It's strange.
Yeah, not a super kind one.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite idiom that might be odd or obscure?
Yes, I do. To steal someone's thunder. Yeah, so this is, I really like this. It means to take credit for someone else's idea. So it's kind of like, stealing someone's idea and everyone thinking it's you that did it when actually it was someone else's great idea. I think that's a pretty good one. How about you? What have you got?
Mine's a funny one because I think I've researched this one once with another student, and there's actually like 20 different ways to say it, and it's not a nice one. So one of the common ones is that not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Not the sharpest tool. Not the sharpest pencil? Do we use that one too, or not? Or is it just tool?
Yeah, you can use pencil, not the brightest crayon in the box.
Yeah. Not, what's it? A sandwich short of a picnic?
Yeah. A toy short of a Happy Meal.
I don't know that one. You made that one up, surely.
No, I swear I did not make that one up. It's common in Canada. It's perhaps we eat more Maccas or McDonald's than we should.
That's a very modern capitalist idiom.
So these are if someone hasn't heard them, they're all ways of saying that someone is stupid or has made a stupid decision, choice, has said something stupid. For example, I might say, James, you were not the sharpest tool in the shed when you told that poor girl that her grandfather was bound to pick the bucket, or what was it, pop off.
Yeah, we've all got to pop off someday.
Yes, that was a not the sharpest tool in the shed kind of moment.
I can't believe you brought that back up again.
Sorry, not to remind you, but I'll still be chuckling about that until tomorrow.
Never tell anyone about this, okay?
Love to see if she listens to this one day and knows you've lived a life of remorse over this one statement.
Oh my God. And we said it at the beginning of the podcast too, so if she does even just play the first 30 seconds, she'll get it.
I hope she'll forgive you.
Should have left it to the end.
Well, we've got it both now. So to Katie, without mentioning any other names.
No, there's lots of Katies. I think I dated 2 Katies at school, so could be either of you.
There we go. I've known a handful in my time. I would say we've got a pretty comprehensive list, or at least have given people a few ideas of appropriate times to use some of these phrases and inappropriate times that can get you into a lot of hot water.
Yeah. So on that bombshell, let's put this to bed. Let's end this podcast as quickly as possible.
Fair call. All
Okay.
right. Thank you, James, for some little chuckles today.
And go get some rest. It's a brand new day tomorrow.
All right. Take it easy, James. Thanks for your time again.
Pleasure. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.